Thanks for joining us. And today we're going to talk about the quintessential meditation combo, heart rate variability and the inner smile. So heart rate variability, resonance breathing is something that we teach at Modern Kriya, our website modernkriya.com. And heart rate variability, resonance breathing is distilled from Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is one of the most effective means for internalization, what we call Pratyahara in yoga. And so heart rate variability is something, a term coined by Forrest Knutson, who is one of my teachers, and is a very effective means. It uses sort of Kriya methodology to get into this internalized state. Now with heart rate variability, I've done a fair number of videos on it, and it really, it boils down to a number of things, is that when you're doing this sort of intentional breathing, you want to bring your breath rate below 7 breaths per minute. You want to take out the pauses between the breaths, you want to sit very still. And what that does is that directly stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. And when you stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, it starts to bring your body into a low idle. Consequently, what you can experience are signs of pratyahara, signs of internalization, which include things like your hands being hot and heavy, pulsation in your lower lip, tingling up and down your spine, or tingling throughout your body. Any kind of tingling type sensations that you feel in meditation are a sign that your parasympathetic nervous system is becoming activated, and you get into what they call a relaxation response. Your consciousness starts to recede inside, right? So you're like, whoa, I feel different, right? I feel calm. And heart rate variability basically brings your breath and your heart rate into resonance, right? This activation of your parasympathetic nervous system, in particular your dorsal vagal complex, which is a set of nerves that runs along the anterior part of your spine, right? Once that is stimulated and you get into this internalized state, your breath and your heart rate start to come into resonance with each other, and you get into this internalized state. Now, as I said in previous videos, is that people who practice just sort of mindfulness meditation, right? They're just like, I'm watching my breath. I watch it come in, I watch it go out, right? They can get some limited effect with that, but when you engage in a process of intentional breathing, of bringing your breath below 7 breaths per minute, and especially of making your out breath, your exhalation, slower than your inhalation, you will very quickly get into an internalized state. And people who just follow the breath, it can often take them like 10, 20 years to get into meditation, right? Of doing their practice over that time to get into like a true meditation where they're like, whoa, I'm like inside and I don't have any thoughts. It's quiet, right? I feel internalized, I feel calm, I feel at peace, right? But when you do heart rate variability, resonance breathing, you can get into that very fast. As I said, 5 minutes or less if you're doing it the correct way. Now, once you've established heart rate variability, right, and you start to get into this internalized state, you can also add to it what is called kumbhaka. And kumbhaka in yogic terminology basically is holding your breath at the top of the inhalation. And what we teach students is that once they've established heart rate variability and they start to get signs of the freeze response, they can then engage in these kumbhaka breath holds, right? So what that basically means is at the top of the inhalation, you will hold the breath for 3 to 5 seconds or whatever is comfortable for you. Because you want to continue to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, you don't want to hold your breath for a super long time, because what that means is that your body will then disengage in your parasympathetic. It will start to stimulate your sympathetic nervous system, and you will come out of meditation. So with the kumbhaka breath hold, what is also called blood pressure variability, if you're holding it after you've established heart rate variability, if you start to hold at the top of the inhalation for 3 to 5 seconds or a little longer if you're comfortable, you will start to get into a deeper state of meditation, right? So the third thing, which comes from Dapist internal alchemy, at Modern Kriya, we're informed by a Dapist internal alchemy approach. The third thing that's very, very effective is the inner smile. And the inner smile is a really, really simple process, right? It's really simple, and it's deceptively simple that most people think, oh, that's nothing. It is so important, and it has so much leverage in your internal meditation. So when you engage in heart rate variability and you start to get signs of the freeze response, this internalization, Pratyahara, right? And then you, after that, you've established that, you engage in the Kumbhaka breath hold, right? You're getting this blood pressure variability, and then you just leave the breathing aside, right? And you're internalized, and whatever you're feeling, right? It's okay. It could be thoughts, it could be bodily sensations, whatever it is. You're more internalized than you were before you started the process, right? So however far you get with that, it's all good. What you want to do then is to leave the breathing aside. Just don't worry about the breathing at all. Just let it do whatever it does. Then you want to use the inner smile. Now the inner smile is really, we put a smile on our face, right? And that's an outer smile because it might just be a grin and we don't feel any openness within. But the inner smile is not about being social, it's not about social smiling, it's not about smiling at somebody. What it is to feel what you feel, whatever you're experiencing in meditation, to tune in with it, and then just to accept it as it is. It is like the sun, right? So on a foggy day, the sun comes out, right? It's just shining. It's just there. It's just, it's scattering its beams on everything, right? Without judgment. And the fog will start to lift, start to burn off as it warms up, right? The inner smile is similar to that. You tune into what you're feeling inside. So your feelings, you could talk about if it's like in an area of the solar plexus, right? You might feel some sort of tension that you've been habitually feeling. You tune into that. You just start to feel it, accept it as it is completely. And things start to open up naturally. So the inner smile, it's so subtle, but it's so effective. You just need to have the patience to apply it. You tune in, you feel, you smile, you accept. You'll start to feel this transformation. Things just start to open up, right? It's like you relax. And this radiant inner smile, this radiant feeling of unconditional acceptance for what you're experiencing inside will just start to transform. It starts to blossom, right? So the process of unfolding in meditation, when you engage the inner smile, it is super effective. It's like reaching out to a dear friend, and they may be feeling something, right? And you're saying like, I'm here for you now, right? And they're like, oh, and they might just like, oh, I'm just letting go. That's what happens internally when you engage the inner smile. It's very, very transformative. And it's one of the most powerful practices when applied, right? Once you get into that, it becomes a very effective meditation practice. It's a quintessential combo, from my perspective, of meditation. And because it's fast, it's practical, right? And then the inner smile, basically, you take off in your meditation, you get internalized, and the inner smile takes the rest, and everything starts to unfold naturally. Whatever you need to do in your particular process, whatever you're going through, whatever feelings you have, stresses, etc., when you engage the inner smile, it's so practical in helping to transform those things internally, right? Starting to bring you into an integrated state, right? So when you get internalized in meditation with heart rate variability and the Kumbhaka breath holds, you are shifting away from the left side of the brain, the symbol-based brain, where we have to have all these silos. Everything is kept compartmentalized in different areas, right? Categorized. And you're shifting into the right brain, which is this sort of open spatial awareness. And what happens in the right brain, in particular the right hippocampus, is you start to integrate aspects of your experience, right? That's the process that you're going through in meditation, is that you're integrating your inner experiences. Things start to fall into place, into an order, an internal harmony, if you will, right? That's the process of meditation. And so it can be helpful for you when you're dealing with stress, preoccupations, whatever it is. That process of meditation gets you into an inner state of harmony, right? And you're not trying to force it. You're setting the stage with heart rate variability, resonance breathing, and blood pressure variability, and the inner smile. You're allowing your meditation to mature, the integration process to happen, right? So that you start to experience this inner harmony. And when you get that inner harmony within, you can start to share that inner harmony without, right? So it can have a positive effect on the world around you, your relationships, your situation, your family, etc., etc. So it's really effective for doing that.